Hey everybody, and thank you for tuning in to The Real for Real. Man, we are here again, and we got the boy Trevor back with us again today.
Big Trev.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I do got a question, which y'all's editor did, because I didn't like the way my voice sounded in that last video.
I think that's just your voice, brother. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I've always heard myself a lot more sexy than that. I was like, man, I sound like Kermit.
This entire time, nobody told us.
Ain't nobody told me. So either all these women that told me they like my voice are lying, or Kermit's what's in.
I mean, you could have asked your boys. You know, we would have told you the truth.
Hey, Kermit is in, bro. There's a lot of Kermit memes. You good, bro? Don't worry about it. You good.
A lot of people out there trying to get their bills paid. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna say what they got to say to get.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, they were trying to play you for a sugar daddy, man. That's all. Nah, man. I'm just messing with you. But, man, today we got a good one for y'all. We definitely got a good one for y'all. Just coming off the trail of going to go see James Bond, the latest addition to the James Bond series. So we are going to talk today about No Time to Die.
Bond, any thug can kill. I have to know I can trust you.
Well, I understand double O's have a very short life expectancy.
You are a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr. Bond.
Is this really what you want? Always alone?
And man, I'm telling y'all, I'm ready to get into it. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know what I'm always been about.
We always take Bond movies serious, man. We definitely take them serious. And I gotta let everybody know now. I've been a Bond fan forever. Been a Bond fan since Dr. No. I love all of them. What? But I think this is my favorite last Bond movie for somebody, I would have to say. Like, how do y'all feel about that? Well, Trev, I don't know, because you haven't seen all of them. But this is my favorite. I'm not trying to.
That's my opinion. I was gonna say, since both y'all are supposedly Bond fans and top dogs when it comes to that, I like to point out that I was the first one to see it out of us three. Some folks didn't act like they've been waiting on it.
Hold on.
No, he's right. He's right.
Okay, all right. I know that sounds like the shade getting thrown this way. So
there was a lot of football this weekend. That's my excuse. There was a lot of football. I had to watch the Aggies upset. I had to watch that game.
So you said, did you say you were a Bond fan or a football fan? Because I thought you said you were a big Bond fan.
All of them. How about that?
I ain't gonna lie to you. Mine had to do with the job. If it wasn't for the job, I'd have been in there straight up front row. But you know what I'm saying? I had to work that night, so I couldn't go into the theater like I wanted to. But please believe, I was in there bright and early come Saturday. I was in the second showing in the XD version. I was in the second showing.
And I saw it last. I saw it this morning. But I will say, man, like out of the last Bond movies for people, like I was thinking about Sean Connery's Never Say Never Again, right? And I like it, of course, but y'all know he was old in that, and he was portrayed old as well. So that can't be the best. On Her Majesty's Secret Service by George Lazenby, that's a one and done. So I'm not even going to count that as a last. The Living Daylights, Timothy Dalton, that actually was my favorite last Bond movie from somebody before this came out. But A View to Kill Roger Moore, as much as I like it, we know that's not the best last Bond movie. Die Another Day by Pierce Brosnan. Y'all already know what time it is. That's not it.
Hey,
so
I won't have no Brosnan slander. Okay, y'all know for the longest time that was my favorite Bond.
The worst Bond movie. So we can't do that. Yeah, so we can't do that.
We can agree.
So No Time to Die is the best last Bond movie.
I'm gonna say straight up, I think it is the best Bond film. Period.
I agree with you, Isaiah. I know I haven't seen any of the older ones, but I'm fairly confident in making that. I'll go on the record. I mean,
Well, I've seen them. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that. This one is third as far as Craig movies. I'm going to go with Casino Royale number 1. I'm going to go with Skyfall number 2, and this one will be number 3. And I'll keep it in that order. But there's a lot of positives about this movie, right? There's a lot of positives, though.
No,
this is a solid movie.
I like it. I know I took the little biases out last time. All the biases is in full effect today. Kevin, you're wrong. You straight
okay. No, but this is a great movie though. Like, it's funny, like with Daniel Craig, like a lot of people just be hating for no reason. Like, remember when everybody was like, Spectre, terrible. Like, everybody hated Spectre, right? Like, there was a lot of people that hated Spectre, and I was like,
That's real.
It didn't have the ending that I wanted, right? Because I thought it was going to be the last Bond film. And of course I wanted to see more Blofeld, right? But I was like, this is not a terrible Bond film. Like, just stop. Like, so
from what I remember,
Craig gets hate.
You know what I'm saying? Like, from what I remember of that, man, like a lot of the drama I think came from one, it was just I want to say it's like a slower pace. I don't know if it is
a slower paced movie.
Yeah,
it's slower
I guess the
paced.
word that you look for is slower paced. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like, to be real, in that movie, it keeps this kind of ominous feeling to it. You know what I'm saying? This kind of ominous feeling throughout. So there's a lot of tension throughout the movie, but it's also slower moving because there's not a lot of, it feels almost like there's a lot less dialogue that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it overall comes off a little slower.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of positives about this movie, man. And I just feel like any last Bond movie, not everybody's going to be 100%, right? Not everybody's going to be 100% on board. So I think it's great. People, just relax. We'll talk about it. A lot of positives.
This movie was fun.
Let's get into it.
This movie was fun.
I will say I couldn't help but think that Bond was going to go deaf at some point in the movie. We got a lot of explosions and in and out noise, like distorted sound. I'm like, dang, he gonna go deaf at some point. Like, come on.
I can agree with you there, because when he was at the tomb and that bad boy blew up, I was like, oh yeah, he can't hear nothing.
Oh man.
I was like, his left ear is gone.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I know we've seen this in other movies before, but like you said, when we have the distorted sound and you couple that with Daniel Craig's his facial expressions, you're like, oh, this man is completely off kilter. He is trying to figure out what is going on, and that was great.
For sure. Like, that actually leads to like a good positive that I agree with you on. Daniel Craig's performance, like right now, I would say that he is definitely in the running for like Best Actor award for this coming season. Like, hands down.
He sold it. He sold it. Like, for somebody who's tired of Bond and you kind of got to drag him back into it.
Hey man, don't do my like that.
I was like, he sold it. Because Spectre, I could kind of tell that, like, even though he had a great performance, I could still kind of tell, like, he getting a little tired of it. But I mean, he gives his all, man. Like, the dude does his own.
All in this one.
He does his own stunts. Like, he's been bruised. Trev, you and I were talking not too long ago, broke his ankle. Like, come on, man, this dude gives his all. And you really see it in this film. But man, like, so one of my biggest positives of this movie is this is the most progressive Bond movie that I've ever seen. I have to say that. I think that's going to bother a lot of people who are just stuck into the old time period of how Bond should be. But let's talk about it. Like, this movie, it's not forcing something to, like, it's not a forced agenda, right? Like, I think it's just adapting to the time period of what we're in now. Very progressive. Q, for instance, his sexuality, we know what it is. Trevor, why are you looking like that?
Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, he even says when they show up at his house, he's like, hey, I got a date coming over. He's going to be here any minute now.
He's going to be here any minute now.
Okay. I missed it. During that scene, I was just too tickled that they had the two cats, because he mentioned his cats.
Okay.
And then I was like, they actually put the cats in, and I was like, Q would get two cats that are furless.
Yeah, but I just thought, like,
I was too busy with that.
Yeah, but it wasn't forced. It's like everything just tastefully works. Even Nomi, we have to talk about Nomi. Her getting this 007 title, right? Her being a black woman on screen, it's just dope to see. I thought she was a dope character.
I agree. I thought.
Let me ask y'all this. She was definitely great. But whenever they finally made the reveal that she was 007, I know that Isaiah has mentioned that they already announced that in previous press releases. But for folks like me, I gasped when we found out she was 007. So did people gasp? And I wasn't the only one in my theater that gasped. But did they gasp in your theaters when y'all watched it?
No, they didn't. People were just engaged. I didn't hear any noises or anything, but everybody was just
probably
locked
the only
in.
one in the theater because you saw that Sunday morning.
Dude, it was packed. It was packed. Good.
It
was packed.
Boy tried to dodge the crowds and walked right.
Now, there was a whole lot of old people. I was the youngest person in that room. I will say that.
Oh, that's why they wasn't gasping. Boys couldn't afford to lose that little oxygen right
Dun, dun, dun.
Nah, I'm messing, but in mine, we were sitting kind of far away from people. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, me being the Bond fan I think I was the only one in there fanboying out. Like, I was you could hear me all the time, but I don't know, I couldn't hear a lot of other people.
And everybody, this is the first time that Bond professed his love for somebody. This is the first time I heard him say he loved somebody.
Hold on. Hold on. There's one.
I don't think I heard him say that.
There's one where he has like a wife, a girlfriend who dies.
Well, that's on Her Majesty's service.
Yeah, I was about to say. So
But he never said, I love you. Like, I'll go back to it and make sure. But that's why I say this is a different Bond movie we've ever seen. Yeah. Like, between all these different things. I know there were several
times that I was watching it, I thought, whoa, this is a Bond movie? Like, I was like forgetting what I was watching.
Yeah. Dude, let's think about just the beginning sequence of this movie, right? Like, usually we see a chase scene or a car, somebody running and chasing somebody, or a car chase scene. But no, this was different. This was suspenseful. This was Dr. Safin and Madeline. Like, I love how that ties into, from the beginning to the rest of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But that was different, man. I love that about that. Like, the beginning was great.
The beginning was a very strong positive for this movie.
Yeah.
Watching Madeline as a kid who's been brought up already in a very hostile kind of environment with, her dad being Mr. White.
Yeah.
To watch her put 6 bullets in the main villain for the film, like, that was crazy to watch kid. I was like, that almost to me was instantly the best start to a Bond film ever, because I wasn't expecting it.
And then she also had the sense to get like, okay, I shot this man. Let me take the body out the house. She didn't just wait for her dad to get home. She was like, oh, he gonna be mad if I leave this body in the house. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was good.
So everything about the beginning was great. Another positive I think this film has working for it too is just like going back to kind of what Kevin said about like the I love you part, but the culmination of really good and strong character development for like Bond, but not just Bond, also in like, the other characters that we've been following throughout the way. And I think it's coupled by the performances they give, but it's just really, really awesome. Like when you think about,
I'm thinking about Vesper. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Vesper.
So Vesper's story comes to a culmination, but getting to see the culmination of like, so they established this in Casino Royale, that like finally with Daniel Craig's Bond, we finally get Bond with a heart, like a Bond that has a heart. Everyone before that, it's just he's sleeping with people to sleep with people. Like, I
mean, hey, Sean Connery was slapping them now. Like, he would slap them in the face straight up.
They were all
shut up.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like some of that is sign of the times too. But like Bond in general as a character, up till Craig, is not shown to have these connections. It's simply, I'm being a playboy for the playboy's sake, or I'm sleeping with this person to get information. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lack of emotional content. I think what's strong about this series, and especially strong about, No Time to Die, is we get to see that come to a full head. In fact, what makes the movie so great, especially by its ending, is because there is an emotional connection for Bond to the incidents going on. The stakes go up considerably just because of that. It doesn't feel like the rest, any other movie at that point.
Yeah. You're right. I was thinking about like the action sequences, right? So like you know how I said like the action usually starts with a chase or whatever, but we get the suspenseful feel with meeting Dr. Safran. But then we go to the explosion at the cemetery at Vesper's grave. And then we have that awesome action sequence. And then what do? We jump 5 years from Bond and Madeline's breakup. And then Spectre steals the weapon from the lab. And dude, like those magnets and how they were coming down with it, like that was creative. That was something different. Like I don't think I've seen that before in a film, like the way they used those magnets and came down.
I was Fast like, 9. Don't forget about Fast 9. They use magnets in Fast 9.
No. I ain't talking about that science fiction stuff.
See, maybe Trev didn't watch our Fast 9.
Yeah, I don't think.
maybe this is his last tape. He didn't watch the Fast 9 video, so we got to come for him.
Oh, man. And then, ultimate positive. Is her name Paloma? Was that her name?
Yes.
She works with Bond and kicks butt.
Character.
Yes.
She was hot. She was like, what, 3 weeks in?
She said she was 3 weeks in.
She said 3. She wasn't acting 3 weeks in.
She was not acting 3 weeks in all. Like she was acting nervous and everything. Like I was like, wait a second, 3 weeks in.
Let's be real. The women in general, though, in this film,
that's a strong positive.
They were just solid.
Yes.
Putting Paloma in there too, but Nomi was fire.
Nomi was getting it. Yeah, Nomi was getting it.
And Madeline too. Like Madeline was on some was her performance. They were fire, super fire.
Madeline was able to hide her child from MI6, whose job it is to know what everybody is doing for 5 years. For 5 years.
That's legit.
Yeah.
That's legit. Let's think about the chemical weapon for a second. Is it the nanobot, right? That actually kind of reminded me of The Rock a little bit. The Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage a little bit. Like, remember the chemical weapon that would like mess up your skin like that? It kind of was giving me that vibe, but this one is obviously better, right? It's a better idea, better concept. But I just thought that the chemical weapon was pretty cool. Obviously, Dr. Safran, we'll talk about him. I don't know if I got him on my positives list yet, but we'll continue.
Really?
There's a couple of things that are okay about him, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Y'all can
since you bringing up Safran, I'm going to say positive Safran.
I agree. Positive.
Positive Safran.
No, he was cool. He was okay.
I thought he had a great his story, his origin story to becoming the villain is great.
That's a good story. Yes.
There's a little bit of like a mirror as he talks about with him and Bond's situation to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Bond even has the conversation with him. I get it. Both of us weren't able to we were brought into a fight before we even had a true leg into it. And we were pretty much, we were handicapped from the start. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like I liked how they played it. You know? So I thought, of course, Rami Malek is already he's got a very interesting face. That's the best way to put it. He's got a very interesting face. So and because he's got that interesting face, it can play really easily to being a villainous character. There's another guy in the business that's kind of like that too. I can't think. Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is not like an ugly guy, but he often has a very menacing quality to him a little bit, right? So
that's interesting.
It makes it easy to play a villain. But for Remy, it's the same thing, and I think it's one also big plus to him is his eyes. His eyes are they help to give that kind of creepy feeling. You know what I mean? He knows how to use it. He played it up. I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. I'll probably have that more. I'll have more to say about that though. I think the wood scene where it was really foggy, from a cinematography standpoint, that was a great scene in the movie. Actually, I thought that was actually a standout scene in Craig's series. I like that scene a lot.
Let's be real. We talking Bond films. Cinematography is there. They always give you these nice, nice locale shots, beautiful locale shots. The one in Italy that they do, when they're on their when they first get down there on the trip, I was like, man, this is gorgeous. When they're leaving from the house, from Madeline's home, they're riding on the bridges. I was like, man, these shots, that
was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Stunning. And I was gonna say the costuming too. Costume team.
Okay.
Just flawless. The clothes.
Underrated.
Always.
Underrated.
So
underrated, man. They don't get enough love. Blowfield, man, I thought it was cool. Like, so the use of the bionic eye, I thought was good to keep him engaged in the movie, I think, because I was wondering how they were going to keep him in this and keep him active. And the eye, they did a good job with using that, I think. And it was interesting. It was interesting. It was cool. I didn't know he was going to go out like that, but he did. So.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to play itself out. Like I was like, I know that's the like that you know, Saffron sent her in there to try and get close to him to make it. But I was like, the whole way they kept doing it, like he keeps inching closer, and I'm like, no. And then I thought, oh, he gonna let him slide. And to have him like choke him out, and then he lets him go. I was like, oh dang, like that's how he does it. I was like, this crap. Yeah, it was a good scene. A good scene. How about you, Trev? What you got any more positives? I mean, I know I do, but like I said, I'm biased.
Well, you guys touched on all the positives that I've had. Overall, what makes anything a great movie. Great story. The acting was top notch. Every character, even the little girl. And y'all know that there are times where people let children get away with bad acting.
Oh, not just
just because they're a kid, they don't want to ding them on it. Yeah,
yeah. This little girl was acting her tail off, so she did excellent.
Yeah, she was good. Yeah,
all the action was great, and everything's a positive in my book. I would not say. Go ahead.
No, you saying what?
I was just going to say Rami Malek is definitely a positive, and his character. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you want to start that? I'll get into it.
I'm not start with it. I'll just say it.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
But we'll get there.
I'm gonna get there. No, I think he was cool. Like, I mean, come on, dude. It's Rami Malek. Like, it's him. Like, he's good at anything he does. But
that's true.
There's some things here that are. I like how this movie pays homage a little bit. So, like, I was thinking about it. He says Bond towards the end of the film before he dies. Y'all, this is spoilers. Y'all already know what time it is. Bond dies. If y'all watching our videos, y'all know that we spoil. So yes, Bond dies. But before he dies, he says something important. He says to Madeline, "You have all the time in the world."
Yep.
And so that pays homage to On Her Majesty's Secret Service with George Lazenby. Because
a bunch of nods to that movie.
And because George Lazenby, he says, "We have all the time in this world" to his fiance, and she was dead. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, Rami Malek, his villain. Are we calling him Dr. Safin or Dr. Safran? Which one is it? Safin?
I think it's Safin.
I think it's Safin, yeah. But there's some similarities to him and Dr. No. Now, I didn't really watch the trailers for this because I told you I've kind of been avoiding trailers.
Yeah, they give too much away in the trailers.
Yeah, so I was thinking, I had heard from people that they were saying Dr. No was going to be the villain in this, but that was not Dr. No. Obviously, Dr. Savin, he stands on his own. But there's similarities because, like, when you think about it, well, Isaiah, if you remember Dr. No was kind of operating from an island, right? And he kind of had that he had like cutting edge technology for that time as well. Yeah. And Dr. Safran is operating with some pretty dope stuff as well. So I think there's some similarities. Kind of the way they dress too, they kind of look similar just from like a dressing standpoint. Yeah. Now obviously he ain't got the hands like like Dr. No, you know, like our boy from Enter the Dragon with the he ain't got that. But
what my boy Jim Kelly said, Mr. Handman.
Mr. Handman. So there's no Mr. Handman in this, but I do like what they did with him though. And they kind of, you can see the similarities with him and Dr. No, even though they didn't want to have a Dr. No for this.
Well, yeah,
it was good.
And they do that like throughout the Daniel Craig series, you've got little nods and Easter eggs, but this one especially throws a lot of little callbacks to some stuff. Specifically, there were some score moments, like some moments in some of the scores, especially in the first half when James and Madeline are kind of enjoying their life together, that reminded me of some other Bond scores, like some earlier scores. Maybe they quoted a little something from there. And then, of course, the end of the movie is another nod to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like, for instance, I think it ends with, there's a rendition of Louis Armstrong's rendition of the opening theme song for on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
Is there. And so they play that.
Well, I know you're going to pay attention to some songs. I know.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Know, like that instantly, like I remember sitting there and I instantly kind of like smiled and was like in my seat, like, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing. The
only one in the movie that caught that.
Oh yeah, I was like, that was kind of cool. And I think it makes sense also to throw back to that movie specifically, given that in this case, he dies in the in Her Majesty's Secret Service again. Like he so I thought it was kind of like a double, like kind of an Easter egg there. It's like a double entendre, a musical double entendre, if that makes sense.
That's interesting.
Or a film double entendre. Like he died. Yeah. This is the end of his service working for her, the Queen. And so I thought that was kind of cool to have those little nods there. And I'm sure there are more in there. Don't worry, when I go see it again for the second time sometime this week, I'll find all the things I missed.
All right, that's real. That's a real Bond fan, y'all.
Oh yeah, I'll see this 4 times. Like it's gonna be at least 4 times.
Now I had rewatched the Craig series right before watching this movie because I was worried about him tying in everything, right? And he ties stuff in, but it's not for the people who haven't watched the Craig series. I think you can get away with watching No Time to Die. So I do want to say that. I don't think the plot is too convoluted or there's too many things that are just going to throw you off. There's little things as far as like Vesper, who is Vesper, and just like a couple other things. And if you don't know like just the history of Spectre, then it's going to be kind of difficult at times, but it's not really that big of a deal.
It's not going to hinder it.
It's not going to hinder it. So it's not going to hinder your watching experience. So if you haven't seen Casino Royale, Spectre, Skyfall, any of these, Quantum doesn't have anything to do with anything. So you're fine. So just watch it. But, no, I like Quantum. No, I'm saying Quantum doesn't have much to do with this at all. I don't think.
Quantum in general is the one that kind of stays outside of the story in a bit. So it makes sense.
Like Quantum doesn't relate to this at all. Like everything is Skyfall, just Casino Royale. Like it's not. So I think I think the only significance of Quantum is that they build on James's character and his trust issues.
Yes.
There you go. Good point.
He's still dealing with the downfall or not downfall. He's still dealing with the issues left over from Vesper in the first movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the only thing that's significant overall.
Yeah. And then the last scene, of course, because he's still hunting down who kills Vesper. Yeah. That's how he stumbles upon the gentleman.
And then it's significant that he let the young lady that the gentleman, the Canadian intelligence officer, he let her go.
Yeah,
and that's just
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't trigger happy. He was mature in the job.
He was mature. He was all like, I've been lied to too. So
so everybody, with positives, there always are some negatives. Y'all know that we are some.
Not this.
Y'all know that.
Wait, before you go to the negatives, I just have to say, also, I thought the direction was excellent. The choice, especially in the beginning, and the chase in Italy, in particular, when we get to, well, number one, my man is still a gentleman. We've all been mad at our ladies, and he still got the door for her. She thought that she did him dirty, and he still got the door for her when they were escaping. But I really love in the scene where they're in the car and then the guy is just shooting at the window. And I love that the director chose to go into the car and we're just watching, I was about to call a young lady Vesper, Madeline lose her mind. And then Bond's just sitting there taking it in, processing, trying to see if she's going to break. See if she's going to finally admit that it was her. And then finally he's like, all right, flip some switches.
That was a good scene. That's
a great scene. I would say that's a standout scene from Craig's series.
Yeah.
That is a standout scene. Yeah, because it's almost like he was like, I'm willing to just like let everything go at this point. Screw it, basically. You know?
Look, all three of us is married. All three of us are married. Everybody know that you done had a moment where your lady just made you mad. And you thinking to yourself, "Ooh, I wish you would." Like, and that's where he was at. They was blowing out. Remember, because they was shooting out her window. So I'm thinking, like in my mind, I'm watching that and I'm thinking Bond's thinking this. He's like, "Yeah, they coming to kill you now. Like they did what they needed to. They think they got me, but they coming to kill you." And as he takes a shot at that window, I think he's just thinking to himself, "I'm gonna let him blow your head off too. Let him blow your head off." And then eventually I think he
just wanted to scare.
He wasn't trying. He was contemplating letting her die right there.
You think so?
I think it's like Trevor said. He was like,
"That was good.
You admit it, or I'm finna let them kill you right now. It's one of the two. And then he realizes, all right, maybe she wasn't wrong. Like, maybe she didn't do me wrong, because they are getting really close to blowing her head off. And he's like, okay. And changes gears. But I was like, I was like, man.
I think he was ready to die himself too. I think he was ready to go too. Yeah, I think he was just like, screw it. Like, we all can go at this point. So that was cool.
When he was on the bridge and he was cornered and he was looking left and right, and then he was all like, and he looked like he was trying to decide, man, I thought I was out of this game and all this stuff. And then finally he's like, all right, let's do it. And he runs and jumps off the bridge and grabs the rope. That was dope.
Oh, that was,
that was cool.
That was pride that brought him back. He just had to get an answer from her. That was it. At the last minute, he just went, nah, I could die, but I got to get this answer first. I got to know why she set me up.
Hey, y'all are forgetting though, man. Felix dying, man. That was tough.
Yeah,
that was tough. Felix dying, man. That was tough.
R.I.P. Felix.
Felix was great. I also want to say Jeffrey, or Agency, I should say. He looked, or is it Jeffrey? No, Jeffrey looks old. He got old after this past fight. I was like, dang, that man got old. But anyways, let's move on to the negatives. I know y'all got some negatives. Man. Am I going to be the only one to say anything? I'm going to be the only one? Am I always going to be the bad guy? Am I always going to be the bad guy?
I told you. Is there anything negative about this movie? No.
Zero. I told you my bias is out today. This thing is foolproof for me. Foolproof.
No, sir, you're not biased.
So I'm going to tell you what.
Great movie.
So if there's no negatives, that means this is 100% from both of y'all.
100.
Yes.
100.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, sir. All right.
So the movie's not 100%.
Keep it 8 more than 92 with me 100. Straight up, Drake said it best.
So this movie gets 100%, but Casino Royale doesn't get 100%, or Skyfall? Well, y'all better go on somewhere. Y'all better like Pimp C said, get off the boo-boo. Get off the boo-boo. Like Pimp C said, get off the boo-boo.
We quote Pimp C now. Okay.
Yeah, y'all need to get off the boo-boo.
It's getting extra real now. When the pimp get brought in,
Yeah, everybody take a breath.
All right. I'm gonna just say this. So we had kind of a crowded crew. I'm thinking of Nomi. I'm thinking of Madeline. I'm thinking of Anna, if that was her name, the 3 weeks hired girl. So it's a crowded crew, but they had little to do, but they helped push the plot. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, but I'm just saying they didn't have that much to do. Nomi, I would have wanted to see a little bit more of her story, especially if we're thinking that she's going to be the next Bond. I would have liked to know more about her instead of her kind of taking the back seat to Craig, right? I would have liked to see more.
My response to that is, what's the issue with Iron Man 3? What's the issue with the last Batman movie in Christopher Nolan's trilogy?
Dark Knight Rises.
Not enough Dark Knight Rises. Not enough Batman and not enough Iron Man. This is Daniel Craig's last film as James Bond. He has to be focused.
That's the other side of it.
That's why Nomi was in here. She showed us that she can do the swag, and I think she can become the next, or she became the next 007. But I think I'd love to watch a movie with her. I'm down for that already. But I think they did enough with them. I don't think it was overcrowded. I think they balanced the large ensemble very well.
I'll agree.
And they still kept us true and focused on Daniel Craig, because at the end of the day, this is his last film. That's who it is. That's who you came to see. I might have came to see Ana de Armas because she is a beautiful woman.
No, you ain't the only one. I came to see.
Well, and another thing, Ana, I felt like they did a setup for later of the Bond movies, kind of like what MCU usually does. I was like, okay, I guess that's the MCU thing. It wasn't like a big negative, but I just kind of noted it like MCU, whatever. I mean,
to be fair, there are other people, like people have been setting up sequels before the MCU.
Oh, I know. It just felt like it. Hey, y'all already know what time it is. MCU dominates everything. So I automatically go to, MCU. Oh, setting up another character like we always do.
Yeah, they've definitely taken it to another level. You're right.
That's what they were doing. And I think they played it a little bit safe in this movie as well. There's some great action sets in this, but the action isn't as risky or as risk-taking as Skyfall or as some of the other movies, even Quantum, for instance. They played it a little bit safer with this as far as the action goes. But I as much as I love this movie, they played it a lot. This is the safest action movie out of all of them. I think.
Because
I feel like they didn't want to mess up. Like they wanted to go out in a bang and do it the right way and just not go too over the top. And I think they did that. So I think it was fine. But it was.
I'm gonna dang it up with that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say that it's fully. I don't think the whole thing was like that, but I will say there are some scenes that definitely didn't make sense to me. For instance, I get that they're driving in this car from Madeline's home. They're in this little Jeep and they got a kid in the back seat. However, what I don't understand is why there were no shots that were fired at that vehicle. Every time he is in a car, usually that happens. And in that scene, he specifically is able to take this little Jeep and runs one vehicle, like one of the chasing SUVs off into the, off the road by just bumping them. And then it manages to do it a second time. And I'm like, without any real static from him, I was like, I get it, y'all. But the girl is in the middle of regardless of whether that little kid is there, Bond world, there's gonna be gunfire. There's gonna be shots going that way. Like, I get it.
I think you guys are being nitpicky, but I would explain that just by that sapping.
That's what hey, welcome to the Real for Real, brother. You're gonna have to start nitpicking too. Start nitpicking. No, play. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Dr. Safin was in love with Melinda.
Oh, Madeline.
No, yeah, there we go. That wasn't right. Sorry, y'all.
I was like, who is he? I was like, hold on, I watched that whole movie. I'm like, right now. I ain't seen no movie.
But he was in love with Madeline, and I'm sure he probably gave them orders, just go get her and the child and bring them back to the island.
That's fair. I'll give that. But I will say, I won't call it a negative. I'm just saying things that I would have done differently. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. For this episode, I have no negatives, just things I would have done differently. One of the things I would have done differently also has to do with Safin itself.
Thank you.
Motivations around, I felt like they work it in well, and it creates a nice emotional beat around Madeline and around Matilda, the daughter. However, I still struggle to understand why, in the beginning, when he saves her out of the water, it makes sense because he explains himself. I was the only one left of my family there. I needed someone. No one was there for me. They all were killed. So when he saves little Madeline, it makes total sense at that point. He's having he's basically projecting his past onto her and saves her out of the water. But as an adult, he says that he's like, I'm connected to her, and I'm guessing in some type of, he sees himself as a surrogate father to her. I saved your life, and now you're going to live with me, and we're going to start this family, this thing that I never had because they all got killed before. But at the end of the day, that part doesn't seem to make sense when you realize that after he's walked off with the little girl and the little girl bites him, he also is very cool with just letting her disappear. Like he says, he looks at her and just says, so you don't want my protection?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. So I'm like, was that necessary? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things that could have been removed. The motivations around Madeline could have been removed. The movie still makes sense, even if it was just like, oh, Madeline, he used Madeline for the purpose of getting close to Blofeld. That's fine. Then after that, Madeline's done for, because Bond still needs to go over there and stop the rest of his plan. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily a glue piece that needs to be there. The movie's not incomplete if you take that motivation out. But again, that is just me saying what I would do differently, not saying that this movie is bad.
I mean, I'll go as far as to say is this villain is pretty average for me for a Bond movie. He kind of, like Dr. Safin, I think falls kind of just as a regular Bond villain. I don't think there's anything stand out about him in this. I think that Bond Craig, I should say, for his last go, I think he should have had just maybe a stronger villain. And I'm not going to say that this villain wasn't good. This villain was just average. I thought he was fine. And I think Rami does a good job of acting, and I probably would have had him more in the movie instead of introducing him later and then having him kind of just come here and there. I think you should have gotten a little bit more of him. So that's where I would have to ding him, because let's be honest, for me, I think he's just going to be, I mean, and you're going to have to watch a lot of Bond movies to see that Safin is average, man. He's average. Seriously, he's average. And the thing that stands out about him are his chemical weapons and what he's doing, his motivation.
Yeah.
And him coming against Spectre, like that's his motivation is what stands out, not him as a villain. So I think Bond deserved a stronger villain with more screen time, but that's just me.
Okay. that's a respectable argument. I don't agree, but it's a respectable argument.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you don't. I'm a fanboy too, but you got to call it what it is.
I mean, I agree with the part that you said about him being a typical Bond villain, but heck, which one hasn't been? Like I'm about to say, they all.
Which one hasn't been?
They're all in the same.
Raoul has not been. Skyfall was not your typical Bond villain.
I figured that's
him taking over the entire MI6. That was not a typical Bond villain. That is probably the best Bond villain that I've seen. Like that is great.
But that one is the one that I figured that's the one you were leaning toward. But I also figure, for me, because I enjoyed the movie, but also that came out right behind The Dark Knight, and there was a series of movies during that time that I think just kind of played on this. What is the word? Chaos is what I kept calling it and describing it back then, because in The Dark Knight, the Joker had this. It wasn't a plan, but all these things just happened to fall into place based off of how chaotic the situation was. And that's kind of how Raoul's plan in that kind of works that way. It's too big to truly work, if that makes sense. Like I don't see a way that his actually can happen. Does that make sense? Like, I hear you. But I get what you mean. Like his overall, everything about him is a little more charismatic. I get what you're saying. And that makes sense. He was going after M. Like he had to bring it. He had a personal vendetta that he was bringing to the people. He was bringing it directly there. Rami's character does not have his personal vendettas. He's essentially taking care of them after the first 30 minutes of the movie. Once half a Spectre is killed. Yeah. So all right, that's what I'm saying. I could see you. I didn't have as big an issue with it, but that's fair. I think that's super fair.
Oh yeah, it's just, I mean, we do positives, we do negatives. There's going to be some negatives, bro.
Yeah. No.
Ain't everything 100%. Now, I expect both of y'all to give this movie 100% scores then. So let's go ahead and give our score since there was nothing negative.
Straight up, 100.
Crazy.
100. That's it, 100.
Boy.
I'm going to drop 2 on it.
He might lose his credit card, man. The few credentials that you do have from doing these couple episodes we've been doing, you might lose all your credibility giving this movie 100%. You better get a little bit more realistic and give this an accurate score.
You're right. That's fair. 99.99999.
Okay.
Boy up to 100.
Go ahead then. Okay. My score is 92%. It's a 92% movie. It's Craig's movies are going to be A's straight up. Like Quantum is the one that falls at a solid, like it's an 80% movie. Like it's not getting above, like it's like between 80 to 83. Cause like Quantum is just, no, Quantum is a B movie.
It's a B, but
it's not a bad movie. Like it's a 80 to 83% movie. Now other people give that movie like 60 to 55. Like, let's be real now. No, Quantum is not that. So this movie is a 92%. This movie's 92%. Casino Royale for me is like 97, 98. Skyfall's like the same thing.
See, if you were putting
Inspector is 85. Like 85, 87, like, yeah.
I respect it a little. I can respect your order. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. The only
that's fine.
I will put on the same level as this one, close enough to it. I will give you Skyfall being right there. I can put Skyfall neck and neck with it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, though, I couldn't put Casino next.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, Casino's the best Bond movie, period. It's the best Bond movie ever.
Okay. Well, sometimes people just
leave your comments, people. Let us know.
Sometimes people just
Bond fans, let us know.
Trevor, what's yours? What's your score? Please correct this. Like, let's solve this for us.
Wait, hold on.
100 is my score.
100 is your score. But you expect Trev, who just started watching Craig Daniels movies, to give you the correct score?
All right, that's fair. He did just borrow my set to just watch it. It is true.
But not to take nothing away from Trev. But I'm just saying,
not to take nothing away. You gonna take some away. That was. But that's the purpose.
But you gonna come from my score. You gonna challenge my score.
Because all of a sudden we need to use other films to rate one film, right? So that's why we got to disregard what I'm saying. That's what we doing here. Okay.
No, I just say
where's the logic in that?
No, this one is definitely 92% though. 92% for sure. 92%.
But just for the people out there, I did watch all of the Daniel Craig films. I've watched all the Bond films since 1990.
Yeah, y'all got to know something about Trevor.
I'm messing with Trev. I'm messing with him.
Don't play with nothing but past 90. Like to get him to watch something that was older than 90, it's gonna take an act of Congress. Like,
older than the 80s is usually where I struggle. Yeah. I think Star Wars and Taxi Driver are the only two that I've seen that were made before the 80s.
Yeah. Trevor.
I take that back. The one we always talk about, 2001: A Space Odyssey. That was what? Okay. 1969.
Well, that's yes, Kubrick. So Kubrick.
But that was 69. Yeah.
No, but I mean, we all know. Me and Kevin both know when we got to talk to you about watching something old. You got questions first, serious questions. Like, what can I see in this movie that I can't see in them better?
Facts.
I'm just saying. Some folks in this group who will remain nameless love to look into the past, and I'm like, hey man, there's a lot of great media and art being made right now, Kev. I mean, whoever that person is.
The people know Taxi Driver made it in my top 10, so y'all know.
Y'all know half of Kevin's list was old school. Kevin stayed in the old school. That's the zone. Like,
Bad Boys 2 was the most updated, so yeah.
Which was a surprise.
Shook all of us. But I will say we got some common ground today. We did all decide that this movie is an A. We all decided that.
Definitely an A movie, no questions asked.
Now, if I can just convince everybody in the group that James Bond is better than, the James Bond series is better than Mission Impossible, then I think I will have done all that I needed to do. Hallelujah and thank you, Lord. But I guess that's for another podcast episode. We can battle that out on a different day. But that's my next goal as the lead preacher.
Bond versus, oh man, that'll be great.
I think
Mission Impossible versus Bond. That'll be a good episode.
If y'all want to see it, put it in the comments. Let us know if y'all want to see us go break those down. Let's see who's better. I think it'll be a good move. But definitely, folks, man, check up with us. Put some things in the comments. Tell us how you feel. Are we right about, No Time to Die? Is it the best Bond movie? Is it not? Maybe Kevin is actually correct. Maybe me and Trev got it wrong. I doubt it because I'm telling you it's the best. But put it in the comments. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also ring the bell. Ring the bell so that way you get notified when we have new posts. But man, signing off for the real today. It's us, our guest Trevor. We thank you for hopping on today. We thank you for doing this with us.
Appreciate you, Big Trev.
Hopefully we can get him back on for a whole bunch more. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to have him sign a lifetime contract over here.
Well, I mean, we got to say that you're a guest right now because you did kind of say that you're going to start a rival podcast. So, I mean, until you squash all ties with the real for real.
I say that's all right. We're gonna have him sign this contract. He's gonna be stuck, man. We're gonna have him stuck.
We're gonna force his hand, huh? We're gonna make him an offer that he can't refuse.
We're gonna have to shook him.
Yeah.
Hit him with the Suge Knight.
Straight up.
Make him wake up with the horse in the bed. Like.
Hey, but y'all take care, man. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be cool.